Yeah, Katie.
Peter Alexander. Peter, thank you so much. Let's turn now to Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union. Matt, good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
You too, Katie. Thanks for having me on.
Whether or not you like this debate, whether or not you think this debate should be happening, the reality is the debate about Donald Trump's fitness, his mental stability, is happening right now. What do you think of that?
It doesn't bother me at all. I'm happy to have this conversation. I have a significant amount of, and have had a significant amount of interaction with President Trump back before he was president, during the campaign. Now that he's president, he's the same guy he's always been. People who know him know that he's a very unique American, I'll give you that, and he's unorthodox, but there's no different, this is not a different Donald Trump. And I also know him to be a workaholic. He works constantly. Now, he might not work in the way that your reporters are saying you must work as president. He works the phone a lot. He works wherever he is. I was at a dinner with him recently. He took phone calls throughout the dinner. It's just how he is. He is constantly working. He's constantly in motion. And I think the American people see that he is a different kind of president, and he's the president.
Different kind of president, yeah. What about all the tweeting that he's doing? He's very clearly, from what he is tweeting, watching a lot of cable TV.
You should take it as a huge compliment, Katie. He's watching you. What's wrong with that? Is cable news worth watching? I think it is. It's worth appearing on. That's why I do. I think it helps people get educated. And I think if the President of the United States wants to watch your show and other colleagues' show, I think it's a great thing.
What do you make about of all of the alarm bells that are sounding around the president? You have Michael Wolff quoting Steve Bannon saying that he's lost it. There's also talk, according to Wolff, within the West Wing about the 25th Amendment. And it's not just Wolff. I've got sources who have worked inside the White House, who have known Donald Trump for many years as well, telling me that and asking me if I think that he's lost a step, because they think he's lost a step. This is not just confined to Wolff's reporting.
Look, there is no question that Donald Trump is a controversial political figure to a lot of people. I will give you that. I don't know who your sources are. But
they're
I know
fans
you're
of Donald Trump. They're supporters of Donald Trump.
Katie,
these are not people who don't like him.
I'm not questioning your sources. All I'm saying is all I can know is what I know. And I've read a large part of this book. I think Michael Wolff is simply just not a credible source. I have seen journalist after journalist go on news show and simply talk about all the inaccuracies in the book and the fact that he has made a career of spinning what he sees as his version of the truth, which he starts the book out, Michael Wolff does, talking about that this is his version of things. He did a whole chapter on the group that I chair, the ACU, which puts on CPAC every year, a whole chapter on CPAC, Katie. He never called me. He never called anyone in our organization. He never called anyone in an allied capacity that works with our organization to verify any facts in that chapter. He gets a lot of facts wrong. So the problem when you have an author that has this kind of sullied reputation about does he really check facts, how do I respond to what could be true and what isn't true when there's so much that's not true? He says John Kelly had a different job. He said Wilbur Ross was the Secretary of Labor. You go on and on and on. It's mistake after mistake, easy mistakes. He's almost like a high school kid who crammed for a paper and had to get it in time because maybe this was a good time to release his book. It would have been smarter to go through some editing. You have to agree, Katie. You agree with me. He should have gone through some editing on this.
I had Michael Wolff on my show at 2 o'clock, and we're going to play a little bit about his editing process and his journalistic standards in just a moment. But hold on.
But he should have those errors in a book. No, but just answer that question. Should he have those errors in a book?
I think all books should be thoroughly fact-checked.
Thank you.
But it's not just Michael Wolff. And we should note that Steve Bannon is not denying saying any of this to Wolff. He's not denying his quotes. He's not denying that he said he lost it. He's not denying that he was talking about the 25th Amendment in the White House. And also, if you just put Michael Wolff to the side, whatever you want to say, Steve Bannon's not come out and denied any of this. He's not said, I did not say any of these things. He has a statement, but he hasn't said it. I mean, he's had ample opportunity to do so. Hold on, Matt. Let's put Michael Wolff aside.
I will want to have the chance to respond to that.
Let's put Michael Wolff aside for a second, and let's talk about my sources. And it's not just my source, it's other reporters as well. These are not people who have Donald Trump's ill will in mind, and not people who don't want to see Donald Trump succeed. They're people who definitely want him to succeed, who are concerned about his ability to do so, and about his focus, and about these tweets. This is not a new big piece of reporting. It's been around for quite a while. Does that not concern you at all?
So what I would say is this: I can't know who your sources are. All I can know is what I know. And I talk to the president. I talk to the people around the president. I talk to allies of the president. I think they believe that this coverage on the president's mental capacity to do the job is absurd. Now, Michael Wolff says that 100% of the people around the president bring up the 25th Amendment and his ability to do the job on a regular basis. That is factually inaccurate, because let me tell you, if you walk through the people he didn't talk to, and I think he told a colleague of yours on NBC, he didn't talk to any of the cabinet, who are the people who would have to make this decision on the 25th Amendment. He didn't talk to the vice president. He did a whole chapter on my organization, never called any of us for any factual verification.
I want to get one more question in before we have to go, Matt. And
these are fair concerns,
Let
right?
me just ask you this. You, over the weekend, said that the discussion that Donald Trump is, and these are your words, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yes, and you borrowed that.
We did, from you.
Right.
Actually emboldens him. What does it embolden him to do?
Because when the people who support Donald Trump, like myself, are called deplorable, or when he is called crazy or not able to do the job, all you're simply doing is telling the wide swath of Americans who support his policies and support him that somehow there's something wrong about that, and somehow there was something irresponsible and reckless about putting him in this job. And all you are doing when you do that, Katie, or others do that, or Michael Wolff does that, what you do simply is tell a big group of the American people that somehow they've done something wrong in supporting Donald Trump. Let me tell you, we have roughly two sides in this country on politics. We have the left and we have the right. We would do a lot better in this country if we quit making these kind of charges and simply try to acknowledge that we have differences and work together where we can. Donald Trump is the duly elected president of the United States. Everybody I talk to who works with him says that he is doing an energetic and good job and is engaged, and there's been no fallback in his abilities at all. Matter of fact, I have seen no change in how he does the job. So what is this? This is a political tactic to stop the agenda. And that's really disingenuous. Anything to stop Donald Trump. It seems silly. They first said that he colluded with Russians. Now they say in this book he didn't even really want to win. Even the arguments start to cross themselves. And I just think as a country, let's just acknowledge he won election.
I think people in the country have
on policy.
He's won the election.
And let's disagree on policy. But why make this charge, Katie? Why make it?
Well, the president has waded in. Do you think somebody who is a very stable genius would be tweeting that they're a very stable genius?
You don't like his tweets. I get it. You don't like his tweets. Fine. There's a lot of people in this country who like his tweets. By the way, there's a lot of people who appreciate the fact that he does go around, when he wants to, around the media and just talks to his followers. It is an innovation in politics like we've had other innovations. Sometimes the media is threatened by the fact that he goes around them, but it's how he wants to do the job. And he's got the constitutional right to do the job in this way. And just let me make this clear, a lot of us are rooting him on and think that his agenda is actually saving this country.